hear us will speak loudly enough. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming out here on this beautiful, beautiful summer solstice day with a phenomenal view. As Karen just pointed out, you can see Mount Diablo and Mount Tam from here, but more importantly, our beautiful, beautiful city. My name's Ed Riskin. I'm the Director of Public Works and very pleased to be here to speak to this great community project. I'm actually not going to speak to it. I'm just emceeing today. But I'll just start you out with this fact. Speaking of our beautiful city, 25% of our beautiful city is taken up with its public rights of way, the streets and sidewalks and kind of scraps and remnants of parcels that the city founders laid out to convey people and vehicles and utilities. And while, of course, the public rights of way are important, it's what we at the Department of Public Works steward, a lot of it was designed more for vehicles and utilities in mind than for people. And so what I think you've seen over the last few years is a rethinking of the public rights of way, how we use them, how we take care of them, what their function is. And what we're here talking about today is just one small example of movement in, I think, a very positive direction in terms of how we think about and use our public spaces in San Francisco. But without further ado, the man you'd all like to hear from, who not only is now serving the whole city, but once did so from the great position of Director of Public Works, where a lot of this thinking about the public rights of way started, our Mayor Ed Lee.
Thank you. Thanks, Ed. Thank you. Thank you, Ed. And thanks for your leadership as well. I'm up here for this really ribbon-cutting ceremony, but I want to do the one most important thing, and it's really to thank the neighbors who live up here. All of you who live up here know what blight looks like, and you've seen corners of the city where grass is growing or where people are neglecting these places. And along comes a little bureaucracy called DPW working with a group like Parks Trust and gaining maybe some confidence with the neighbors that maybe we can do something about it and take a neglected part of our city, whether it's a corner that nobody takes responsibility for, and it's a sore to everybody's eyes, and kind of the neighbors said, I just wish somebody would do something about it. And lo and behold, some good conversations take place. The Streets Parks program at DPW with Ed Riskin's help and Mohamed Nuru's engineering starts talking to some city administrator, bureaucrat over there, saying if there's any funds at this little community challenge grant program. And then some leader like a Julian Weiler starts appearing and says, yes, yeah, there's something we'd like to have, and the neighbors want it. And by the way, we've been doing it on Mayflower and Carver and the gardens along Bernal Heights. We can do a little bit bigger. We can make it more beautiful. And the confidence gets breeded in with the neighbors and the kids. And they work very closely with DPW and Parks Trust. And everybody says, let's all work this together. And as you can see behind me, I think somebody's property just got another $1 million addition in value. But it's worth it. It's worth to transform blight and make sure we do it with our supervisors' help and everybody who's concerned about the beauty of the neighborhoods. This is what makes neighborhoods strong. This is what I want to continue building on, because it's leaders like Julian and others who are working from everything from a little graffiti problem, a little staircases, whether it's Rosencrantz or Prentice staircase gardens, and saying we want to do something different. We want to make something look confident, something that's paid attention to by all the neighbors. Let's forget this word neglect. Let's reinvent the word and bring it back to what it really is, which is paying attention to our neighborhoods and making it stronger and building community and building partnerships. That's what these street parks are all about. It's never about just the concrete or about the flowers. It's about the livelihood and the increased value in life that we bring to each of our neighborhoods. That's what I like to be the mayor of a great city is all about. That's what I love about the city. My own neighborhood community on Hamilton Street's doing the same thing with our street case. We're wanting to pay attention to it, and we want a little bit of city help, and they get it. and they get it, and we bring bureaucrats out to the neighborhoods, and we put sunshine on it, and we make everybody, I think, that much more appreciative of what kind of city they're a part of. And I want to always emphasize the strength of our city relies on people like Julian Weiler and the whole community and building their network of communities. You build it here, you build it in Glen Park, you build it at Bernal Heights, you build it in the Mission, you build it in Chinatown. It's all builds the strength of this city. And it comes back to our departments opening up their resources, not protecting it like other bureaucratic agencies have historically done, and says that we can do it and we can be challenged with a grant program that's completely open to everybody. And so these things are worth really the $1 million of what it looks like today, but it's worth 10 times more in building, I think, the camaraderie ship and the companionship with our neighbors. So I want to emphasize that, and I want to represent that by giving, I think, what I can do here to reflect our appreciation for leadership, a certificate of honor to Julian Weiler for his leadership on not only this project, but so many of the other projects that have kept this community working and expanding and growing neighborhoods, and then to make sure that there's a grand design around Julian's leadership, because I've always felt, as the mayor, but also as a city administrator, when you have strong communities, things like disasters, things that we're unprepared for, we will have strong neighborhoods to help us recover back. So this is the beginning of that. And Julian, I want to give you this certificate on behalf of our city, behalf of Parks Trust, the Community Challenge Grant Program, and everybody you've worked with. Thank you for all the leadership you've had. Julian, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your leadership on this. You know, from his time as DPW director, he made some reference as city administrator, facilitating and growing the Community Challenge Grant Program, and now as mayor. It's great for us to see a mayor who really gets it, what matters to our neighborhoods, who embraces and is really encouraging and directing all the departments to embrace communities the way he did when he was director and city administrator. So thank you, Mayor, for your leadership and enabling things like this to happen. Someone else who really gets this stuff is the supervisor who represents this area from his first days in office. He's very much focused in every conversation I've had with him with regard to the importance of keeping the streets and the sidewalks clean, free of graffiti, welcoming, and beautiful. And I know he was very regretful that he wasn't able to be here today. But he has sent Representative Rio Acosta from Supervisor David Campos' office.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the mayor for his kind words. They were very nice. And as a member of this community, I personally would like to show my appreciation and thank Julian and the Friends of Bernal Gardens for all their hard work, time, and commitment to our community so we all can enjoy such beautiful places like the Vista Pointe Garden for generations to come. On behalf of the entire community, Supervisor David Campos and the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, I would like to present this Certificate of Honor to Julian Weiler, which reads, "For your vision, dedication, and commitment to excellence as the project leader and designer of the Friends of Bernal Gardens, an organization that is dedicated to greening our environment and that has succeeded in turning a vacant lot into a beautiful garden. Thank you for continuing to be an exceptional community leader."
thanks again to Supervisor Campos in his office. So it's easy to sit up here as a director or city administrator and mayor and have these great ideas, but then you need to turn to someone to actually get the work done. And that someone here in San Francisco is sometimes known as Mr. Clean, but he's our Deputy Director for Operations who works 24/7, 365 to keep the city clean and particularly to make it beautiful. Our Deputy Director, Mohammed Nuru.
Thank you. Let me join Mayor and our Director, Ed Riskin, in welcoming you all, and thank you for contributing to such a beautiful asset to our neighborhood. As many of you know, San Francisco has got many hills and streets and lots of open space that has not been developed, and it is people like Julian and others all around the city that have come together to help the city become stewards of such beautiful lands. And here's another example of community coming together, businesses, everyone contributing their share in making San Francisco the great city that it is. I would like to thank especially Broadmoor Landscape Supply, who gave Julian quite a number of discounts and some free materials to make this project happen. Janet Moyer Landscaping, who assisted with the design, and there was all this effort in trying to figure out the slopes and the hill and how high the walls should be and what they should look like. They helped quite a bit. Jordan Kirkland, Tilden Landscaping, Veronica Brady, and the Friends of Bernal Garden, who actually brought this garden to fruition. As Mayor and Ed have said, the Department of Public Works is out there to hold hands and work with everyone, and it is through their leadership that we are able to improve our neighborhoods. I would especially like to thank the staff from DPW, Sandra Zuniga, who goes out to all these meetings and starts these projects, along with her staff, and all the bureaus at DPW who assisted in bringing supplies or doing some of the cement work or making sure that the project was built as planned. Thank you very much.
So there's a lot of other people to thank, which I'll do, but you've been hearing a lot about this gentleman, Julian, who was responsible for a lot of this. I used to actually live not too far from here. I used to walk my dog up on the hill there, and as someone who used to live here, it's just so great to see the transformation of this space, and it's something that I want to see it in my new neighborhood as well. But it doesn't happen without the leadership, at the grassroots level. We're there to support it, but if the leadership isn't there from the community, it doesn't happen. So it's my great pleasure to bring forth a great leader in this community, Mr. Julian Weiler. You have to say something.
Welcome to Vista Pointe Garden. There are a lot of people who aren't here today who contributed and made this possible. You've already heard about the Street Parks program and Sandra's leadership, but there are a lot of other people who come here and work and put in various parts of this garden, especially the sort of unsung heroes of the volunteers in the neighborhood. So by working together and staying focused, this neighborhood has reached out and made partnerships with the city. We've worked together, and we get more done that way. It's a real synergy. These gardens did not exist 5 years ago. They were all neglected, blighted. Very much like across the street, you still see areas that can be improved. So we just need a vision. The public gardens connect us to natural beauty. They give us a sense of community pride. They provide habitat to bees, butterflies, birds, and they represent what is best in us as a community. For example, the bench that you see represents a window on the past. It was once a curb in downtown San Francisco. and we've simply connected it to the future. Another purpose for the garden is that it provides a place for people just to sit and reflect as they pause on their journey. It provides a kind of common beauty that we all share. And it allows us to stop and reflect on the shining city beyond, which continues to reinvent itself. Today we dedicate this beautiful public garden. May it keep so. Thank you.
Beautiful words befitting a beautiful new part of our city. I just want to make sure that we have thanked everyone. I think Mohammed thanked a lot of the donors. The mayor referenced the Community Challenge Grant program. There's a whole group of the Friends of Bernal Gardens that we certainly want to thank. And finally, the it's not just community partners, but it's community organizations that we partner with to make this happen, to make things like this happen. A great partner for the Department of Public Works and all of our community programs, who brings fiscal sponsorship, but also great leadership and great sensibility about the landscapes of San Francisco, is the San Francisco Parks Trust. So I want to ask Karen Kidwell to close us out with a few words.
Thank you, and I think we're all so moved by Julian's words and his passion for this place. San Francisco Parks Trust is very proud to be here to celebrate the completion of this beautiful garden. You know, the term is fiscal sponsor, but it is so much more. We are a community liaison, an interface, and we do this all over the city with many partners, both city partners. Bureaucracy is not a bad word. We work well with government, so thank you to you bureaucrats. To me, that meaning has no pejorative anything. You know, the sense of entrepreneurship from DPW is very strong, and you can see it in the interactions here with Julian Weiler, the Friends of Bernal Gardens, and all the community members. I know there are lots more of you who make these things happen. But DPW itself deserves lots of credit. They actually built that concrete platform here. They delivered supplies. They organized community work days and brought up the tools. I'd like to specifically thank Sandra Zuniga. We work with her on this and on so many projects for her hard work. Partnership is many times the people behind it. You can partner with DPW, but you have to have a person there to be your partner, and she's been it. And then on our own staff, I want to thank Julia Brachers and Maria D'Angelico for 2 years of effort also on this. Bravo. And then finally, we have another great city partner, and that's the Community Challenge Grant. They provided a lot of the funding for this, and Lenita Henriquez is a very able leader for that program. So thank you to all our partners in city and community. Enjoy your new garden.
So thanks everyone for coming out. I think we have a ribbon to cut. Notice it's not a red ribbon, but it's a green ribbon because this is a green space. So please join us in formally opening the park.
All right, are we ready? 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you. This is the Pointe Park. Okay, I'll beat anybody to that velvet cake.
SF Gov TV, San Francisco Government Television.